quiver of various serpents, the spine-rotting marrows of humankind to turn themselves into serpents. Ovid. I creep by secret approaches. I glide into slippery courses. I move by very small pressures, my monthly cunning. Of these creatures, how many poisons there are, how many calamities, how many griefs. Yes, I thought so too. I do eject my poison up. A spider is an airworm, refuted, confounded, asleep under glass. I kill by making you thirst. I kill by making you sleep. I kill by sweating your blood. I am splendid and sluggish, trailing my body bent around a military bootlace tipped with brass. I poison with a curving wound, my reeking gape. Horned snake, a stomach worm, it is slipped in, it lives in loins, emits a fiery, scorching theory. Scorched seasons breed me out of weather-felled remains of my gnawing. I have two heads, and my eyes shine like lamps. Functionless eyes, trodden upon, twisted back, seized and stung. Tardy slither, slothful nibbler, plundering cat, pillar of the community, lardworm, leech, I creepeth privily, and casteth the plague upon such as sit. Crawling by plain wriggles, and lousy people also swarm, dragging my stretched parts, lusty fondlings, strangely fouled. She-eel, uncouth, disorderly, tipsy, summoned by incantations. In Merseyside, sloughing concubine, my scouse surmise overcast. Venomous and conjugal, destroyed in the suckling, the serpent excels by having a queer tenacity of life. Queer tenacity, yes, I thought so too. I am brought forth in violence, and I bring forth violence. Both parents perish. The male when he copulates, the female when she gives birth. The deadly ill, the ideal death. The night's cold numbs, whims, insults, ruinous coupling. Adam was betrayed by Eve, not Eve by Adam. Incubated by a toad, from a cock's egg hatched. O death, I shall be thy death. I shall be your grief here below. October. Long-standingly evil days. Fragments instruct on the goneness of thought. Pile of coats in the kitchen, cursing a circle of chairs. Swallow the spittle of a fasting man. Only shit remains, the tight smiles squired, hands into talons, no, ribs into fingers. I am scared into stupor. I give up the wrecked days sublime to terrestrial newts, dewy lizards, faculty randos, the widening gnaw of his brumming. These are virgin's vestiges, O you, irrelevant child. Through gossamer frolics, intense a dazed unfolding, the lately sheep of rain. My ministering broth, the mulligatawny of mangled, Tamil mulled and tawny, milling and torn, the worms al dente semolina, darker reaches. A snake is Sunday's umpire, empires undoing, wet leaves heaped up by the back door. I want better news, the good and signifying warmth, his mind, the sky of thorough blue, this giddy calculus of birds. There's cheap meat cut from the neck, cheap meat cut from the shin, the possible parried, the sun reinstalled, snakes, those flourishing edgelords, devious flails, the tempered flecks of them. Our soldiering ploughed into commonplace little wistful economies of care. I go cold and on my belly rather than. Scrape the sight from my drawn eye, an asterisk over my bleak unmentionables. A snake in the garden, its cold blue body like the tributary of some eerie river. Lethe, from the Greek, meaning oblivion, forgetfulness, concealment, lathe of snakes. Fragments, the stammer turns circular, mutinies. Like this is forever. The animals got in during the night. The snakes poured out of the bathroom taps. Quick, they were getting away. They were lean and grim, the snakes, the fat trimmed from a black dress to make an armband. He keeps forgetting the word for forgetting the word for forgetting the word, and I would rather. And suddenly comes to. Our Fran crawled right up the arsehole of affluence. The quaint lore of what is left is faulty Necronomicon, the tongue of a dead boot, bolt the brain. October. Artfully dressed in expensive rags. I don't like this phrase, a meditation, as in a meditation on being and belonging in 21st century blah. It tends to imply a contemplative position not equally possible for everybody under, oh, these invisible normative whites, oh, this 21st century blah. The hairpin, the haggle, stunted cussed, stunt, avid and avowed, you enter the forest, you enter the academy, you enter the staff room. With your sword and scraggy perishing, your Bernard Matthews turkey perishing in crispy golden breadcrumbs. A broken wing lifts its diffident salute to the firing squad. Roadkill, nature hollowly catechized, barren and harassed in the anthology. People have mainly been kind, but between tribute and retribution, between tumult and dumb usury, the stale sum of me, a dispensation of tongues. Arid and clement, conversational shortcuts, but crisis, impending and permanent executed action, idle threat. Give me height enough to launch my shadow across your lap, this threshold there, thwarted, stepping, enter. A forest deformed, thickened and twisted, the wrangled branch bunched and faltered, types brittly abandoned. We were eating the rich off of reclaimed bamboo skewers and gentrified goujons. Did anyone ever tell you you have a chip on your shoulder? Statement epaulets of grievance, low-budget bluebirds, chubby cartoon cherubs, Richie Rich, in red pyjamas. Sieved by unperceived pressures, our golden scruples also sifted. My derelict attempts at breath, melodies, strategies. You do your own stunts, I sign my own autographs. Grift and flicker, rested and rigid, the story is sieving the soldier. Poppies everywhere, they died for you, this earthly chastening. What can I give you? Unofferable constellation, a way of seeing stars without sustaining serious head trauma first, perhaps. A strong wind to daunt and dice with. Your name as a taunt and a warning, the laboured marvel, a kind of beseeching poem. Today was mouths, pulsing fonts, apertures of cancellation. I had symbols stalling, bird facts magnified. I had punctuation impairing code, implication, accusation. I trailed the fields, conduct my thuggish sewing. I said, nice work if you can get it. An amenable tease, the bestiary, and sealed along its sinews, lavish harrowings. Dumbfounded, I mean dumb, and found I zero myself an animal, I Xerox myself an animal. Walking into that room was pure Sergio Leone, and filling a kettle should not occasion that level of stress, I said, picking my freckles up off the floor one by one as I said it. A kind of pelt stretched across its intersection, not so much a scar as a pale fold in the abstract idea of the body. Cut! In what sense is this still about animals? Ostentatious, artificial. They said, I prefer muted, natural colours, but Christ, have they seen nature lately? As in hypervisible, filthy whites, as in excessive participation, aesthetic, incompetent, abject signals, as in the quelled glam of my being here, my landlady's leopard print, the consumerist turn that says poverty itself is an identity, a behaviour, a choice. These teeth, this tearing, this teething, these tears. In the sense of underclass, the little pleated ploys by which they play with identity and the borrowed bagginess of a second-hand shell suit, leisured ironies, loud, the obscene body starved out of its sportswear, streetwear, our very skin fumigated, steamed, repurposed sarcasm. The vexed bone, throbbing. I put my hand in my pocket, pulled out a lame fury, and people have been kind, but fly-tipped, the dirty poor in their bulked machines. This is all about animals. They were dressed in us, exactly the way they used to wear furs in the bad old days of Downton Abbey and Spencer Tiaras and smoking indoors. Us is a costume sweet as dis and skeevy. Every day is Halloween. I'm a mink campaign, slung blood, catwalk, chav, Appleby, skunk, etc. ketamine chic. Artfully dressed they were, in rags cut from the strut of our era, and counterfeit accomplishments, processions of the excluded, processions of sympathy. My pronouns are holiness and majesty. November. The story of O. Thinks he's all that though, says his smoky decrees in slactive way. Pleasingly cool, my energies exceeding grace, I woke up this morning wearing all my serpent on my sleeve, bodily cobbled, commanded and vacated a scented crevice dubiate, reticulate melancholy. I experiment with pressure I am putting the squeeze on. For a talked surrender, can't think how it happened, magic. Libidinal swagger, libidinal havoc. My mind is a wonder of gutters as the punk haunt replete. Tell me, can the Feralton speak in English? His language is the kept skull-sanctioned necklace of human ears, renders speech impossible or enables only its colonized forms. I call to him. My voice is dainty and itemized as small pink flowers in receivership. I called to him, rank and welling squeal. I slobbered all over his sober hatching, fickle gape, fickle gap, fickle gob, wetly smacked. How did this happen? Magic. I hate his fiercely parcelling tongue. Craft and curse, magic is the cunning grave defacement of this. Tedious, sexy hijinks, obscene and saddened, lavish and ambivalent, ennobled and null, and meaning's reach is total, can. God help us. In this poem, the tongue is the motif and the miracle. Did you know worms taste with the whole self of their lowly questing, how ardour erupts in unlikely places? It's not that I mind. Lust will be inexhaustible, imperiling my guiding desire, a rollick of consumption. He tramples my turning, milks my fangs, but how did it happen? What quirk of quaking supernature I? Did I invite it? Power enters me, perpetuates itself in my mouth, slick and merry in equal measure. Become a subject to self, subjected. The French have a boudoir word for this. My tits like posthumous puddings, all white and green. To end in a tale is an agreeable aloofness, a disciplinary flourish. He comes with his friends to tally and bracket me. I tighten the circle of myself. One melancholy stocking I unhook, my obedience ornamental, instrumental, this shock collar, this metal cuffed wanton. With a ruthless whimsy I outdo, I undo, do I? Blatant revel. I rave, available, I veil myself, my very eye, attempting hood. How did this happen? I did not err from power. Power made possible what from power strays. I read it in a book. How the punishment creates the crime. The escape, I mean. Oh man, how many snakes does it take to change a light bulb? How many snakes on a plane? November. Sweet Feralton Melusine, a song for poets and men. It is filth, but not just any quickened garbage. Of indelicacies and ostentations, pleasures ditty clench, it is better not to speak. If it is filth, it is immaculate filth. Your art is collusion, your dairy of fickle nudes. I eat your pimping slang, no mere roguing wench, no mere strolling lingo. As much in the clip as the kiss, so many kelpies, a squad of dewy ponies, so many mollies in bloom, licentious. This body has satiny vocations to watch, to weigh, to surge, to short your wound-up charm, any charm, your shrunk charm gnawed. I dreamt the wreck I was, coral staged its subtle colony inside of me. I was sunk, but not drowned. Melusine, which I misread as messy line or loon or the motley loosened sea, siren of this graceful armoured muzak, This antique noodling wind wank on a shepherd's pipe. The pastoral is a garlanded, never so cheaply. The cumulus shebang of my body is lost in translation. Hey, dreamboat, fairy isn't fair. Your inexpressible bride, the fusing mindfuck of my thighs, your eye corded its keyhole. I parcel my vanishing up with a violent resignation, stare like a slack flirt at my back, or forcing the fluid air out of me, grind me between a dragon and a worm, a stricture and a whim. If I am a creature of water, loosened, lustral, lucine, larcenous, if I am a serpent, the fang aptly milked, the black bile aptly jerked, now I'm slinking away like a blasted Dracula to hide in my dank grotto. Now my face is a Gorgon alarmist going through the motions in the mirror, all the poets gathered in a church hall, dragging their classical epigraphs after them like personal fucking rain clouds, bringing the animal irksomely figured, animal as fearful athlete, animal as utmost mercenary kern. They don't know shit, and here I come. Melusine, call me Mel, call me Lucy now, a mooted carry shedding my legs for the short-lived pig of it. You ever eat baked eel? Tell me about my flesh, braised and flaked, how it slides off the bone, how it melts in the mouth, reduced to a hot, wet stain in your walk. My body is bound, tenderly stunted, a breed of chicken, born without beaks, a kind of skinless fish that needs to stay pregnant in order to float. I had this dream, these tortured pets, these rosy and quivering studs, these chimps in diapers, not I. My name is Omen and Monster, not proper, not pure, and all the yobs of conflagration are my tribe. When you see me, death swanks into the kingdom, horns forward leaning from his twink hips. Oh, it is filth, but not the crudely subdued cunt of it, not the orchestrated cunt of it, not the cunt snowed open. It isn't delinquent, it is aslant. I hid my body from you for your own good. You're a child, you cannot look upon deformity without tearing up or puking your guts. You'd want to fix it, you'd pitied me, or wear me like a pitch cap made of your own tragic steadfastness. You'd want a medal, you'd take me from town to town like any aggrandized freak. You'd tell your friends not to stare, you'd secretly hope that strangers would stare so you could slap them upside in defence of my honour. Like Will fucking Smith at the Academy Awards, you'd come not near, you'd come in a sock, shit that. My name would flood and rupture the tongue, the brackish swell. There is no limit to my virtue, I mean, no virtue in limits.